Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 1994 Zacharias Court Northeast here in Kaiser. We're located at the back of the house. Bear with me here while I glove up. Got a 3-inch ABS cleanout. It sits right next to the hose bib in the backyard, and currently the cleanout is exposed. In the event you ever lose track of it, it sits just to the side of the hose bib. If you're staring at the back wall, it's about 3 feet to the right of it, or 3 feet to the left if you're oriented looking at the front of the house from the street, which is generally how I describe everything, as if you're out in the road looking at the front of the home. Anyway, we're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. I just zeroed the foot counter out there at the base of the cleanout. Off we go here. Line transitions immediately to 4-inch 3034, which means that right as we dropped into the line there, the line belled out to 4-inch pipe. 3034 PVC is always minimum 4-inch diameter. So right after we dropped in, the line belled out to 4-inch. We'll probably see that at the end when the line's drained out. Camera is upside down right now, if you didn't figure that out already. The water is not floating. Or hovering, I should say. It's very unique to have 3034 PVC this close into the home. Usually they save this stuff till you get out into the right-of-way, because it's expensive, very, very good pipe. So it's often only utilized where it's absolutely necessary. And if you want to hear a fun story about how strong this pipe is, this actually happened about 6 months ago. I was asking a sewer installer what he thought of each different pipe material, what his favorite was, and he mentioned this 3034. He gave me a challenge. He was going to pay me $100 if I could break it. He handed me a sledgehammer, and the sledgehammer came back and almost hit me in the forehead. It bounced right off the stuff like a rubber ball. I mean, it is just crazy strong. So now we are into concrete pipe. We're picking up a little bit of gunk on the camera lens here. I'm having a hard time telling if we just wide into another line there. I'm going to let the line drain off for just a second. You still did, they did utilize concrete pipe in the 90s. You don't see it quite as frequently. In the 90s was about the time where we had made a full switch over to using all plastic piping. But not entirely. You still have some houses out there that had some concrete, but sometimes when you hit all of a sudden get a change like that, the line may have wide onto a main lateral. You've got a little bit of standing water at the end of the line here, so we're gonna wait for this to drain off for a second to see if I can catch a glimpse of that. It's either a turn in the line or we're hitting a Y connection onto a main lateral there. And being that the line is going out the back like this, I think it took a hard turn at the start. I kind of expected the main lateral to be fairly close into the house, about in this realm here. Slosh some of the water out of this spot here real quick. And from what I can tell here, it looks like just a turn in the line. So right there, the transition over to concrete still appears to be 4-inch diameter. There's the dive. Now we should be seeing the main here in just a second. Anytime a line does a hard dive like this, that means especially at this distance out, there's the main right there. The line does, it looks like a just straight vertical drop into the main lateral. You can see once we get down into here, we're dropping into water. And the flow direction is changing, moving from side to side rather than behind the camera. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to turn the water off for just a second. I've got to pull up to the top of this drop. My camera is just in a free fall right there, which will put off a really weird locate signal that's hard to pick up on. But where we're currently sitting at is directly over top the main. And these vertical drops they're kind of hard spots, notoriously, to get a good, just nice clear picture of. I'm mostly just looking to see if we have good drainage through the area. The water, you about need the line to be completely bone dry, because the water droplets dangle off the end of the camera lens, even if you have almost nothing moving through the line. Anyway, everything flows through that vertical drop there just fine. We're going to go locate here really quick. You're about 90 feet to the main in total. Actually, a much longer sewer line than I thought it was going to be. Alrighty, located the camera head. I forgot to glean the street name off the sign. The line terminates at the side street. So if you're facing this house, facing the front door from Zacharis Court, northeast, the line shoots out the back. From what I can tell here, it looks like it runs all the way to the fence line and then turns and shoots on out to the road. And where we terminate there, I don't see a manhole. So why they did that configuration, I'm not totally sure. It makes the line a little bit longer than it kind of needs to be, but it's what you got, you know. There may have been a pre-existing line there from something else at some point in the past. There's usually some reason why they did that. But had they cut this thing at a harder angle, you probably could have lopped 20 feet off the line. Normally with that configuration, usually you end up with a main lateral running through across the rear fence line. But generally speaking, when you get out to the main lateral in the street, what you're going to see where those two mains intersect is a manhole every time. And so right here, I don't see any kind of Y connection at all. There's just a turn there in the line. So anyway, I'll notate the belly. The concrete pipe's functioning nicely. It drains off good. So right here at about 56 feet, it's close enough, 57 feet, the tail end of a belly. This is getting a good distance out from the house here. Even if this belly were close proximity to the home, it's nowhere near big enough to where I'd recommend a fix on it. It's very, very minor. It's running from about 53 feet to 57 feet at its worst point, and I already filled this thing back in with water. I may have sloshed a little bit out of it, so I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say it's got between 1/4 and 1/2 of an inch of standing water, which is a long ways off from needing repair work. I've been doing this 13 years. I've cambered almost 25,000 sewer lines at this point. Most bellies in plastic pipe, especially 4-inch pipe like this, even when they're of the more substantial size, or what you would think of as a substantial belly with inches of water, I still rarely see blockages occur unless the homeowner is hugely helping things along by putting paper towels, wipes, tons of balled up toilet paper, you know, basically abusing the line on a frequent basis. That's generally speaking what gets even a significant belly to cause problems in a plastic sewer line. Those smooth pipe walls really help to mitigate buildup from occurring, even when it does slow down for a moment. But the belly you're working with there is teeny. I started to get worried about bellies when, I mean, realistically, when you've got inches of water for extended lengths of pipe, 10, 15, 20 plus feet. Those over there are more concerning, but honestly, even at that point, it still takes a particular set of circumstances to get them to act up. A belly like you have there, it would purely and totally come down to how the line is being treated. If you blocked up in a belly that small, it would have almost nothing to do with the belly. So, if you notice in the flow line, there is a little bit of grease buildup. That's that kind of tan brownish stuff you see throughout the line. My camera's gone through and chewed up most of it. So once you start running water again, probably a good 50% or more of that is going to slough off naturally. So it's not at a point where I'd recommend cleaning, but I do point it out for educational purposes. If you dump a lot of cooking oil and grease down your line, it will build up in your line. And I'm more concerned these days about thick grease buildup than I am a lot of structural issues like bellies. There's a lot of stuff that gets kind of blown out of proportion in real estate transactions. Bellies are one of them. My experience with them, and I've done a lot of drain cleaning over the years, generally when I'm looking at a belly that's had a blockage occur in it, it's not just a belly I'm looking at. It's usually a big wadded up ball of wipes, paper towels, 30,000 balls of toilet paper, the 3-year-old flush down the toilet, stuff like that. It's not run-of-the-mill, regular usage type stuff. So anyway, we have good flow all the way out to the main lateral. The belly, again, there from 53 to 57 feet approximately is far too minor, in my opinion, to require repairs, especially when you consider the distance that is from the home. It has almost no chance of causing a blockage unless the homeowner makes it happen. All the pipe we just scoped there, all of it is intact, in good shape. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time.